again, Bill Pfeiffer speaking from Marysfield. So very, very good to be with you. Do remember the subscribe and like button if you do indeed like, and do remember the Mother Teresa film as The Chosen. Again, both of them will touch your heart and do good things for you. I'd like to share today a little bit about something that's kind of been bothering me for a while. Um, in one of the local churches, a local Episcopal church, there's a big banner outside that says "Love is the way." And, that's yes, yes, true, true. I mean, there's no question about love being the way. But one of the problems with that is that pesky, annoying reality called truth. That also has to come along with the love. Love is the way, but the way must always include the truth, or love isn't love. Isn't that true? That's true, huh? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And that's what the gospel says to us at the Last Supper in John's Gospel in chapter 17. Jesus says, constantly he's praying for his apostles, disciples, consecrate them by means of truth. Your word is truth. Has the church, the people of God, slowly been leaving? That we've been leaving the church. The truth of the gospel, in some ways, for decades, has been compromised in a certain sense, slowly, very slowly, so that no one has noticed it. It's like something like a big iceberg that leaves its home and slowly moves down into the ocean, which we might compare in a metaphor to society, and moves into the ocean and slowly melts until it's absolutely gone. So, in some ways, maybe, this has moved into the church slowly and very slowly over decades, huh? And so much so that that in some places the truth just almost no longer exists, huh? If in religion that loss of belief is called apostasy. Apostasy is something that only believers can do, if you will. They believe and then they lose that belief or they give up that belief, and that in religion is called apostasy. In 1 Corinthians, in that famous prosaic celebration of love that Paul does in 1 Corinthians 13. One of the parts that he says is love never rejoices with what is wrong, but rejoices with the truth. Love is again indeed the way, but the truth is really an important thing. It always must come along to be a part of love. So hold on to the truth, hug the truth. The truth is really an important thing, particularly in today's culture. It always gives us freedom. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And there's no right way to do the wrong thing, is there? We continue to try to do that. We have. We sometimes we use love as a universal blanket. As long as we have that feeling of love, whether it's someone's pain or compassion or understanding for them, and legitimately so. We need to have passion and compassion and love for those who are in pain in any particular way, but we kind of throw the blanket of love over it, and all of a sudden they're they curve off the right road. Their sinfulness, their lack of understanding, or whatever, becomes okay, and that really isn't the way that it is. That's kind of a cheap grace, and so we want to be very careful that the church has not become the world that Jesus was so concerned about at the Last Supper in chapter 17. He mentions the world 17 times in that chapter, and he's saying, keep them from the world, protect them from the world. It's the iceberg going into the warmer ocean and disappearing. And where did it go? Where did it go? All of a sudden, we've lost it, huh? So, Paul in his epistle to the Romans in chapter 1 says, I am not ashamed of the gospel. The gospel is the power of God leading those who believe to salvation. And so you can't become ashamed of the full gospel. And it's just we end up doing all kinds of saying all kinds of things that are kind of true, but you have to tell the whole truth in order to be able to understand. So love is the way. I mean, there's no two ways about that. That is the truth, but you cannot, avoid bringing the truth along and making sure that your love is indeed love and not something else that you're using it to cover over, as we say, a multitude of sins, and we do that. We do that in our culture. As long as it's love, it's love, and as long as it's love, everything's okay. Well, it's not always okay. Again, there's no right way to do the wrong thing. Happiness tomorrow depends on doing the truth today. And even when we do love, that love has to be a truthful love, or it really doesn't provide the kind of compassion and understanding that we really intended in the beginning. So I hope that makes some sense. Love is indeed the way, but truth must always come along for the ride. You can never let love be kind of there all by itself and not be kind of uh, with the banks of the river, holding it in, making sure that there's truth involved in this whole thing, because ultimately if the truth doesn't come along, ultimately, that culture, that church, that society, those people are going to feel the pain of the lack of truth, because non-truth produces its own difficulties in the long run. And so, hug the truth. Love the truth. Make sure that you're involved in the truth. In our culture, it's not something that is very prized. On college campuses, there's no more academic freedom. It's kind of constant, preaching and teaching in ways that it's a, love, but make sure that you're involved in the truth. Good to be with you. Peace. Have a nice day.